introduced and almost concluded with reduction and enlargement of formula. And I can remember introducing it yesterday, last night. So in the morning, we solve questions there. We categorize the questions we solve there into three. Questions that has to formula that has to do with formula that has to do with the amount of ingredients in 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 units, that is in units of weight and volume, like milligram, gram, kilogram, or mil. Then we also solve the one that has to do with amount presented as parts. Parts. We also solve the one that contains percentage. That's what we did today. I don't know. I didn't see you in class. We did that. So, and I said that anything we've done, we don't need to go back there again. It is now the only thing I can do for a student is any serious student will just look for go back and meet others and see what they did and try to make up, go through it. The only thing I promise I can do for the student is that maybe at private time, if it's someone that is serious, if you go through what you others did, maybe through their material or going through discussion with them, then if there is a specific question, I can listen to the person to the student. But that is not what it should be for a student that did not attend class. But I say I will listen to the student and answer specific question. But if I sense that the question is asking is trying to pull me back to what I did, I will not answer the students. So without wasting time, I said that this topic is a simple one. Is a simple one. It just involves maybe. Okay, now let me get a question. If you go through the material, you can see where I am now.
Yes.
Good. There's a place you will see just read this topic. It's easy to understand. Now there's a place you will see. Okay, let's look at example. Let's solve one example in each of the parts. After that, we'll call it a day in this topic. But wherever we stop now, we'll continue until we solve one more questions in each of these four categories or three subtopics in the topic. There's a question here. The question says, example 6.2, it says, calculate the quantities required to produce 300 ml of aromatic magnesium carbonate mixture using the formula. Calculate the quantities required to produce 300 ml of aromatic magnesium carbonate mixture BP using the formula below. The ingredients are as follows: light magnesium carbonate 300 mg, sodium carbonate 500 mg, aromatic carbon tincture 0.3 ml, chloroform water double strength 5 ml, then water to 10 ml. Water to 10 ml. Okay. Now, if you look at this question, this question, what we have in the official book of from the prescription given, say that the entire volume of whatever you're going to produce is 10 ml. Because if you see that place they wrote water to 10 ml, means that water is the vehicle. So that means the volume of what this formula in the official book or can give us is 10 ml highest. But we are going to produce 300 ml of the aromatic magnesium carbonate mixture. So they need 300 ml they need 300 mil. The prescription needs 300 mil, but what we have in official book is 10 mil. So how do we now go about it? How can we now produce 300 mil using a formula of 10 mil? So what do we do to this formula to be able to produce 300 mil? Do we reduce the formula or enlarge the formula?
We will reduce the formula.
No, we will not reduce formula. Look at how can we reduce formula? What we have in the official book is 10 mil, but we are told to produce. But we are told to produce 300 mil. How can you say that we should reduce formula? Huh?
We will increase it.
We will enlarge the formula. Now, so for us to be able to enlarge this formula or to increase formula, if we look for the enlargement factor, and I said in a class that the enlargement factor is the amount of what you are asked or what you desire to produce divided by the amount of what you have in the official book. So if that is the case, what you have in we want to produce is 300 mil, but what you have in the official book is 10 mil. So we simply do 300 mil divided by 10 mil is what? 30, because mil will cancel mil. So we have 30. Hope people are following.
Yes.
Eunice, are you following? Eunice, are you following? Well, why is she not talking? Eunice, are you following?
Yes, sir.
All right, so the enlargement factor here now is 30. So we now use that enlargement factor to multiply all the ingredients in the formula. So let's start. We use 30 to multiply 300 mg, use 30 to multiply 500 mg, use 30 to multiply 0.3 mil, use 30 to multiply 5 mil, then use 30 to multiply 10 mil of water. So if you use 30 to multiply everything, at the end, the final volume of what you are going to produce will be 300 mil. So you now weigh each of the ingredients. Am I communicating? And measure out the volume of all that the ingredient that are in volume form. You measure it out, then mix properly and make it up to 300 ml with water. So if that is the case, if you multiply the 10 ml, if you multiply all these things with that 300 ml, with that 30, which is the enlargement factor, you would have gotten the ingredient required. Once again, I want to point out something, please. You cannot know exactly the amount of water you are going to use. So don't say that the amount of water is 300 ml. No. Instead, say that you use water to make it up to what? 300 ml. Because there's no way you will know. If you want to calculate it, that's how to do it using specific gravity and all those density, specific gravity, and the specific volume stuff. But that one requires some absorption, which is not required here. We just want you to just list the ingredient. Forget about water, because you only use water to make up to 300 ml. But you have to list the amount. If you multiply light magnesium carbonate by 30, you know the amount it is. You keep multiplying until you get the final all the amount of all the ingredients required. Am I communicating? So this is how to do these things. Sorry, I don't know if you have any question you can ask. So Onye, okay, I would advise you go back to use this idea now to solve all the questions therein. Solve as many questions as. By now, if you remember I told you to be studying ahead. By now, you would have you're supposed to have covered these topics. So Eunice, please also go through the materials. I'll stop here because I have another lecture by 11 o'clock. I need to set up the link. I'm sorry that I didn't start on time. I slept off. I slept off. That's why I didn't start on time. I'm sorry about that one. Tomorrow we'll continue so that I will not be able. I will not also disappoint those. And I have lecture by 11 o'clock.
Okay, sir.
All right. Good night.
Bye.